Oh, is that seat available? This seat? Yeah, sit there. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You want to sit here? Where? All right. Well, is he too big? Is this okay right there? What? Oh, right. All right. For this one and everyone. All right. Before we start, I just want to say that DVDs are available for all the keynote speakers and workshops and panels. They'll be downstairs starting tomorrow selling them. So if you want DVDs of anything that you may have missed or want to see again because it's so exciting, we just did a great Starseed panel and that's worth getting. So there's so much going on here. It's hard to see it all, but at least you're here to see the real thing. Yes, yes, yes. Wow, you pack them in. There you go. Well, she is a superstar, really. It, yeah, she is the poster child for the Starseed Revolution. And no, but Elizabeth April, what I like about her is this is her life. She's really dedicated to changing the planet, uplifting the vibration, and really being at service. And not only does she speak to activating star seeds, she's actually making them herself, as you'll see. but but her message, okay, later. But no, her message to humanity, I think, is really valuable at this time, and that's why she's so popular because they see her sincerity. So let's give Elizabeth April a really big hand, a standing ovation. Yes. Thank you for being.
Hi. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. Okay, I might cry. Very pregnant, so. Oh my God, okay. Yeah, it's been just such a full, incredible weekend. I mean, even seeing how packed this room is makes me want to cry. Um, I think one thing about coming to a conference is that it's just such a deep dive into a soul connection. I think a lot of you either found my podcast or my book or just me on YouTube, but there's nothing like just seeing your face and giving you a hug and taking pictures and exchanging smiles. And that's what I feed off of. I feel like I've been in a room in sweatpants alone for the past couple years. So this lights me up. I just want to say huge, huge thank you to all of you for being here and showing up for this, but also for yourselves, because this is what it's all about. We're sharing light codes, and as I always like to say, you're a teacher too. And really this is what this is about, is activating yourself at that teacher level so that we can all go out into the world and activate others, and share the vibes. So yeah, I always actually like starting any lecture or workshop with a lot of gratitude and appreciation. So I met the founder who started Conscious Life Expo. I've been wanting to speak here for many years. I met him today. I don't think he's in the room. His name is Robert. He's such an authentic, kind guy. And I just want to say that for anyone who runs something like this, right, the vibration of the people who come to these events mirrors the person who puts the event on. And I was so pleasantly surprised by how humble and gracious and authentic he was. So huge thank you to Robert. Another huge thank you to Christine, who basically runs the show. Big, big thank you and shout out to all the volunteers. I mean, we couldn't put something like this on without the volunteers. And then once again, big thank you to all of you to come out and share the love and share the vibes and share the light codes and activations. So let's take a breath together, because I feel like that would be great. Let's all just ground into this activating energy before we go to the next dimension. So close your eyes and a deep breath in, just filling all of that white space, bringing all that white light energy in. And then deep breath out. Breathing out anything, a lot of the chaos and the energy and the buzz and the vibes, and just ground into your body. Just feel your body in this moment. And give love to yourself. Give gratitude to your own self, your human, your hybrid, for showing up in this moment. And another big, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Ah, that felt so good. All right, you can open your eyes and let's get started. Does everyone have a piece of paper and a pen? Sasha, workbook and a pen. Good, okay. Don't skip ahead. I'll scout you out. I will call you out. No. All right. So my intention for this workshop today is to introduce you to your cosmic self. I believe that we have two cosmic selves, so we're actually going to get introduced to both of them. I believe that we have cosmic genetic DNA within us that can be unlocked and activated, and then I also believe that we have a cosmic soul, and they can be very different, and that's why it can be confusing to be a starseed and be like, I don't really know what's going on, and am I this or that? And as I will say in this lecture, we're all of it, right? We are really multi-dimensional beings. But the number one question that I get asked as an expert within the starseed realm is, EA, who am I? What am I connected to? And I'm hoping that by the end of this workshop, you're like, I'm a Pleiadian genetic hybrid with an angelic soul. You know what I mean? No attachments to the labels, but it's going to really help you unpack and unlock some of that, just to kind of know where those origins are. Cool. So a little overview. So we're going to talk a little bit about the prophecy of humanity. I have talked about it before, but I think it's important to cover. We're going to talk about the history of hybridization at a genetic level. And then we're going to also talk about soul integration. And once again, how important both of those things are, and they're very different. Then we're going to talk about the soul types. There's probably a nice mix of soul types in the room here. And then we're going to go into genetic hybridization and soul hybrids, and that's when you're going to tally up your points and really kind of see who you resonate with. And then we're going to end with DNA upgrades, how to unlock your cosmic DNA, how to raise your frequency, and then a really nice message to all of you from the Galactic Federation. We might have time for questions at the end. So if you have a question, write it down, keep it in your noggin, and if we have 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes at the end, we'll take live questions. Okay? Cool. Okay, so let's talk about the prophecy of humanity. This is a really special planet. This is a really special time to be on the planet. Within the Galactic Federation, there has been a prophecy for millions, if not billions of years. And the prophecy comes down to one species that is meant to end the galactic wars for this universe, not just for the solar system, not just for this galaxy, but for the universe. So my question is, why are we so important? And what I've unpacked over the years is we are that species. We are the ones who are meant to end that war. But why, right? It's because we're hybrids. Then my follow-up question is, but hybrids exist out there. I've met so many beautiful, half Pleiadian, half Syrian beings on these Galactic Federation ships. But why us? What sets humanity, what sets humans apart on this incredible journey? Why are we the prophecy? And there's a couple of things that really makes us unique. The first is that we don't just have two different DNA strands within us. A lot of the hybrids that I meet out there, they're this and they're that. And a lot of those hybrid genetics mix really well together. Just like I mentioned, I literally just met a Pleiadian-Sirian hybrid on the Galactic Federation mothership, and those two mix really well. Why do those two hybrid DNAs mix well? They mix well because they're of the same frequency. So the first thing that makes humans really unique out there in the universe is that we have many, many, many different strains of DNA. I believe we have more than 20 different strands of cosmic DNA out there. The second thing that makes us really unique and falls into this prophecy is that all of the different strands of DNA that we have within us are very different vibrations. They're not compatible vibrations. So one of the biggest things is that we are the genetic creation. We are the brothers and sisters of some of the lowest vibrational beings in the universe and some of the highest vibrational beings in the universe. This is what makes us a part of this prophecy. Because at the end of the day, as humans, we need to be exposed to both the extreme polarities on planet Earth to then make a choice. So it's up to us to then choose. So our purpose on planet Earth is to understand polarity. Why do we have to go through an ego death? Why do we have to go through a dark night of the soul? Why can't we just skip all of that challenge? We have to go through that. Why do we have to experience the corruption on planet Earth? We don't want to experience that. As starseeds, it's painful to even observe what's happening on planet Earth. We have to experience polarity on planet Earth so that we understand the universe as a whole better. Once we understand polarity within ourselves, within the collective, then we make a choice. Where do we go? Do we follow the light or do we follow the dark? And I think at an individual level, we have all made that choice, struggled to make that choice, continue to make that choice on a daily level. Do we react in a high vibration or do we react in a low vibration, right? Once we understand our purpose on planet Earth, which is experiencing polarity, making a choice, hopefully the light, then we need to understand our purpose off Earth, which is to defend that choice and create peace in the universe. If we can understand polarity here, we're understanding polarity out there, and then we can really defend the light out in the universe. And that's really it. That's what our purpose, that's what the prophecy really states. That's why we are so important, is because we are the children of all of these different beings. And then there's a whole, the free will comes into play, and that can get really confusing because there's a lot of beings who are intervening on planet Earth right now as well. But ultimately it comes down to what choice we make independently, and therefore what choice we make collectively. So let's just go like a rundown of the history of human hybridization. And we're talking about physical DNA genetic hybridization, okay? So specifically genetic hybrids. First, the reptilians came. That was fun. Now, I actually don't know how the reptilians got here. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, I've never really channeled this before. I don't know if they naturally evolved on this planet or if they came from somewhere else onto this planet. There's a lot of Dracos, a lot of Archons, all out there in the universe. I don't necessarily know how they initially got here, but they were here. And I believe that they were the intelligent species along with the dinosaurs. And that was them. So they were here like OG. There's been a lot of cataclysms. There's been a lot of collapse on planet Earth. And they've really saved themselves by going underground. The next being that came to planet Earth was the Anunnaki, from what I've channeled. and they came here for gold. They came here to mine resources on our planet. The reptilians were like, okay, cool, like we don't need gold, so go ahead and mine these resources. But the second that the Anunnaki started to play with genetics and create the first generation of what we know today as humans, the reptilians were like, whoa, 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 I don't see this going in a good direction. You know, I don't want these new beings to take over the planet. So what the Anunnaki did was basically promote the reptilians as the managers of this species. So even going back into ancient Egypt, the reptilians were kind of managing the humans. Humans were always seen as slaves, and the Anunnaki were considered the gods of the planet. And that was the vibe for a very long time. Now, I do want to interject here because one of the biggest questions is why would the Galactic Federation allow this to happen? You know, it just doesn't seem like a really great start for humanity. And I think we really carry a lot of that trauma with us, right? Of being slaves and being enslaved and having that within us. So the reason why the Galactic Federation allowed that to unfold initially is because it was supposed to happen. The Galactic Federation always knew about the prophecy. So even though the reptilians and the Anunnaki didn't know that they were even a part of this prophecy, they had to allow this to happen so that we became, once again, the daughters, the sons of some of the lowest beings. So yes, and then I'm going to interject with the reptilians as well. So eventually what ended up happening was the Galactic Federation came to planet Earth and said, okay, you've had your fun, you know, you've created this species, but now you have to leave. You can no longer interject. And so the Anunnaki said, okay, we're good, you know, we've mined our gold, we've had our fun, we're going to leave, no problem. But the reptilians said, this is our planet. We were here first, and we deserve to stay here. You can't kick us off. So they made a deal with the Galactic Federation, and the GFL said, as long as you stay underground and out of sight, you can stay here. So the reptilians were driven underground, and while they were underground, they basically devised technology to control humans without being seen. And this is when, right, so we are the creation of the Anunnaki. This is when the reptilians started to interject their DNA with our DNA. And this is how the reptilian takeover has happened on planet Earth. So the easiest way I can talk about it is like a possession, right? If you have a higher amount of reptilian DNA within you, a reptilian soul can come into your body and share your body with your other soul. So that's kind of how it's been taking place. It's like they've been controlling the masses by pretending to be humans. And then moving on to the Pleiadians. So the Pleiadians really wanted better. They wanted to better humanity. They came in a lot during ancient Lemuria and ancient Atlantis, along with many other very high vibrational light beings, but we're really only going to cover these top 5 species today. And then the angels came in as well. The angels were more drawn to the elemental energy here, and they also heard the call from Mother Gaia. Mother Gaia was saying, hey, we really need help. And so the angels were drawn here, and this is when they started to help humanity and then also mix their DNA with human beings too. And then last but not least, of course, there's about 20 different species that have all mixed their DNA with us. And then the Greys, there was a lot of issue with disease and humans. So a lot of there's just breeding issues, generational issues that were happening because we were so mixed. So the Galactic Federation asked the Greys to come to planet Earth to essentially help with genetic mutations. The Greys also needed help with their own genes because they had overdone it with their own genetic mutations. So it was a bit of a genetic exchange, if you will, with the Greys. So it's important to understand that this has all been overseen by the Galactic Federation, and this is the kind of the main flow of how we got to this place right here where we are. So just a brief history of soul integration. So as the hybridization progressed, galactic souls were really being called into this planet. However, None of us wanted to come. Why would we? I really don't blame any of the souls who didn't want to come to this planet. It was so dense, it was so slow, it was so awful, really, to be here. And we may say that it's still awful today, but it's getting better. So it was slow at first getting galactic volunteers to come to planet Earth, and nowadays there is a lineup. There is like a crazy long wait list to come to planet Earth. And we're going to get to that because that's part of the Galactic Federation message at the end, that we have to understand how important it is that your soul is right here, right now, on the planet. You chose this. You were not roped into this. You really did come here for a reason. So, so here are the different soul types. You've got the human soul, which can be a little bit of a convoluted concept. I would say the human soul is just a soul who originally came to planet Earth a very long time ago, expecting to have a basic 3D experience. So there is a linear progression within souls, although it can get quite quantum, quite simultaneous, quite easily. So I'm not even going to get into the quantum part. But essentially, souls came to this planet saying, hey, I'm just going to incarnate into a human body. I'm going to have a human experience. It's going to be all well and good. Had no idea there was going to be a prophecy or other beings involved. And they unfortunately got stuck on this planet within the karmic cycles. So we shouldn't get attached to labels, but it is important to understand of like, why won't my aunt wake up? And like, it might just be because she didn't expect things to turn out this way. And she just has a lot of karma to clear, and that's totally okay. And we have to have compassion, for those individuals as well. We've got the stubborn starseeds. I'm definitely one of these. So these are cosmic souls. So I consider stubborn starseeds as the initial or original galactic volunteers. So we're like, yeah, lead the charge, like change the world, and like, the prophecy. And so we all came here first, and then we got stuck here. and now we're still here. So we're pretty stubborn, and we're like, I want to see it through to the end, and like, we're still going. And you're tired. Oh my God, are you tired? I feel it. I'm tired too. And it's like this feeling of apathy. Like, when are we done? Like, we've done this over and over again, and there's still a lot of fears in us. And really, we came back in this body to this planet to clear a lot of that karma, and then also to just let go and enjoy your life. And then we've got the cosmic retirement starseeds. These are kind of my favorite because, like, they're like, yeah, lead the charge, go to planet Earth, and like the prophecy. Oh, wow, yeah, this is a lot. I got somewhere else to be up in the Pleiades, so I'm not going to come back for a while till things, get better. So these souls, what I've channeled is that they were here originally. They maybe spent a lifetime or two, probably in Limeria when it was nice and easy. And then when the fall happened, they're like, I'm out. And they've been like chilling up there in other lifetimes, relaxing for that time, and then they're back here. And I would say that you probably know if you're a cosmic retirement starseed, if you're coming back, and you're kind of mixed between, oh, this world is so awful, and also it's awakening, so I'm conflicted. You're kind of feeling both of the energies, but it is overwhelming. It's a lot happening. And then last but not least, we have the new starseeds or crystalline children. I think I got one right here, brewing. And they're amazing because they're coming in with no prior experience to being human, which can be very overwhelming. This is where we're seeing depression, anxiety, in young children, and we just don't know how to navigate that space, and all these kids who are on the spectrum, they think a different way. They process the world around them differently, and we just don't have the resources, the tools, the educations to help them. And I think I've met 2 people here already who are developing Starseed schools. So I'm like, yes, we're all getting the call that we need to start teaching these kids a different way. And you want to know the best way to teach a Starseed kid is let them teach you. Really, because we don't have the tools. We don't know. We're still clearing our own shit. But I'm really excited because they're coming in, and I feel like me being in a millennial generation, we're just on the cusp. But I think it's the generations below me, Generation Z, I think Generation Alpha, who are really coming in with a clean slate. They're really going to be developing all new ways of integrating solutions for the new Earth frequency. We need them. And there are a couple of brand new star seeds in older generations, which are really fun too, and kind of sad because they really picked a bad time to come in. Sorry if you're like a brand new soul here and you're like, yep, I'm a boomer and that sucked. So, but you're here now, so that's great. So once again, what makes us a human? I think in so many ways we talk about the genetic aspect of a hybrid, which is an easy way to talk about hybrids, right? You're like a, angelic Pleiadian hybrid, and you feel that in your body. But we don't really talk about the difference between a genetic hybrid and a soul hybrid. So once again, there is a difference. Now, at a physical human level, we are all genetic hybrids. Talk about the history, the progression of genetic evolution, right? We are all a mixed bag, basically, of all of these different species. There are certain individuals who were abducted in childhood, injected with extra DNA, and they're hybrids too. So essentially, every human is a hybrid, right? We all have that DNA within us. A soul hybrid is really what we consider a starseed. That is your soul consciously choosing to be in this body, coming from a different dimension, different density. And I think I say it a little bit later on, but every cosmic starseed soul isn't just one thing. So you'll see today that you're going to gravitate to multiple things in that workbook and multiple different species as well. Get your workbooks out. Hopefully everyone has a piece of paper and a pen / a workbook. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the different species, and for every trait that resonates with you, you're going to give yourself 1 point. Super easy. I hate math, so for a total of 6 points or 0 points, right, if none of them resonate with you. We're going to do that with the genetic DNA and the soul cosmic species. Just a couple of notes here. All human races are included in the following species. There's not like, oh, you're from Lebanon, you're definitely this. There's no such thing these days, right? This is globalization we're talking about. Just wanted to mention that. And yeah, due to many generations of mixing, these traits are only sometimes the case. So these are the most probable. If you're like a pure Anunnaki, you're going to have all of them. If you're a mix, as we all are, then you're going to be a mix of all of them. So just keep that in mind of like, do I have this? Do I not? Yeah, and once again, we all have physical and soul traits of multiple species on and off this list. I'm just going for the biggest species that have interacted with planet Earth. So let's talk about Anunnaki-human hybrid. Once again, we're just going to be talking about the physical traits here. So think about your physical self. Tall, really tall usually. Broad or stocky muscular figure, typically, with the Anunnaki hybrids. Predominantly brown hair and eyes. Not always the case, but yes. Symmetrical features with the Anunnaki for sure. And a deeper voice, male or female. This is what kind of the Anunnaki DNA represents. And fun fact, some of the first well-documented half-human, half-Anunnaki beings were Artemis and Apollo. Gotta love those demigods. So once again, give yourself a point for every one of those traits that you have. Moving on, and then add them up. Yeah. And then moving on to the Pleiadian human hybrid. Typically, they are taller in stature. They are slender, but also toned build. Wider shoulders, for whatever reason. Like all the Pleiadians on the ship always have wider shoulders. It's very common to have blue eyes and blonde hair, as with higher than normal Pleiadian DNA. Once again, not always the case, but sometimes. And then Pleiadian DNA really commands a presence. It's kind of that person who walks into the room and you're like, whoa, who is that? Not in a even attractive way, it's just a presence sort of way. That's what I find anyway with Pleiadian DNAs. Fun fact, Pleiadian hybrids gravitate towards vegan or vegetarian diets. Not always the case, but most of my friends who are high amounts of Pleiadian DNA are vegan or vegetarian. All right, let's talk about the reptilian human hybrids. So once again, just focusing on physical features. Make sure you're scoring a point for every one that resonates with you and then adding them up at the end. Strong, bulky build, taller than average. Eyes are looking slightly slanted. I don't know if you've ever seen like a politician on like TV and you're like, that is a reptilian. Like I don't know, it's just like their face. Hands do tend to be larger than usual. Masculine appearance or really strong features. Sometimes actually angular faces too. And then super good night vision. They tend to have really good night vision. It's probably the reptilian side. Fun fact, reptilian hybrids typically end up having a lot of offspring. I've actually met or channeled from like women of reptilian hybrids. And it's like, yeah, so like my ex has like 10 kids with like 5 different women. And I'm like, yeah. Has his eyes ever shifted? So, but I do want to mention, not all reptilians are bad. Not all Anunnaki are bad. We need to realize there's good and bad in every species, and that's important to know. So the angel-human hybrid, typically angelic DNA, usually very petite build, both in males and females, with soft, divine, feminine features, facial features. All hair and eye types. You guys can all check that off. I'm like, that's not really a point, but like, we'll throw it in there. Soft or higher pitched voice, sometimes like a really soft, passive voice. And then angelic hybrids typically have a lot of ongoing health conditions, a lot of chronic health stuff going on. Usually it's because they're so out of their body frequently, and they overgive as well. So they just constantly have health stuff coming up. And then fun fact, angel hybrids don't have to eat as much as other humans. I don't know if it's because they're littler or they're more etheric, but they don't really need the density as much as others. So once again, scoring 1 point for every trait that you have, and then adding up your points. And last but not least, with the physical DNA hybrids, we've got the gray human hybrid. I will say that it's like more rare. Like I don't think I've ever really met a human and been like, whoa, like you have a lot of gray. I've met a lot of like gray souls, and I'm like, ooh, you're a gray. But it's very rare to meet like a lot of gray DNA in a human being. Typically larger, slightly slanted eyes. I believe that a lot of the new humans are going to have the gray DNA. Undefined hair or eye color. Taller, slender build. Thin or little body hair. And then easily dissociates. A lot of the grays are just in their mind so much, they're just not present. They're not in their body. Once again, scoring a point for every trait that you have at a physical level. And fun fact, gray hybrids don't have a need to socialize as much as other hybrids, which I think is kind of all of us at this time. But it still is a fun fact. So give me a show of hands for who scored the most amount of points with Anunnaki DNA. Anunnaki DNA, cool. Yep, awesome, okay. And then who scored the most amount of points with Pleiadian DNA? Yeah, gotta love my Pleiadians. All right, who scored the most amount of points with reptilian DNA? Don't be shy. No, it's okay, it's okay. We all have reptilian in us. Yeah, it's totally fine. Own it, own it. All right, who scored the most amount of points with angelic or angel DNA? Oh my God, that makes so much sense, you guys. I will say that with my crystal jewelry line, right, in all the different species, and we have these in crystal jewelry, the angel ones always sold out the most. It goes angel, Pleiadian, gray, mantis, Anunnaki, I believe, as far as the most popular. So it correlates, it adds up. And then, yeah, last but not least, gray. Who scored the most amount of points with gray? Just a couple. Yeah, yeah. Figured. That makes sense. Cool. So let's move on to cosmic personality traits. Go ahead and flip over your paper. So same thing, just add up 1 point for every trait that you have for each species. And your cosmic soul, okay, your soul is very different and connected to different things than your body. So keep that in mind. So an Anunnaki soul, these are more personality traits. Controlling tendencies. Thrives at leading and making decisions. Prideful. Where are my boomer men at? I'm looking at you, Dad. Logical and analytical, knowledge seeker, and can be removed from empathy or emotions. And that is the Anunnaki soul. Lesson to learn. If you have an Anunnaki soul, if you scored some high points there, then it's important that you learn how to be vulnerable and express yourself at an emotional level. Kind of the toxic masculine traits up here. So let's move on to the Pleiadian soul. Make sure you're adding up your points. Pleiadians are natural leaders, really naturally born leaders. They hold humanity and individuals accountable for their actions. Like, they get super triggered when someone's not taking responsibility. I've met a lot of beautiful Pleiadian souls, and they're very kind of strong on that mission. They are solution-driven beings. They're also natural healers, they're compassionate, and they're really wanting to create sustainable change for all of humanity. Pleiadian souls are big picture thinkers. They're always thinking about how to make the biggest impact for everyone. And the lesson to learn, if you scored high on the Pleiadian soul, is that holding space for humanity rather than saving humanity is important. So many Pleiadian souls are so excited to be here to save humanity, and they need to learn that it's okay to just hold space and allow humanity to save themselves. It's a big lesson to learn. Okay, moving on to the reptilian soul. Typically aggressive tendencies. The other word I wanted to put into aggressive is like fight or flight. A lot of fight or flight, but we all also have a lot of fight or flight within us. Tend to be really introverted, enjoys creating dramas or stirring the pot. They tend to be really logical and analytical, and they're looking to win or get ahead of others, so self-serving. But they're also really good problem solvers as well. And the lesson to learn for reptilian souls is how to best assist humanity rather than self, really looking at that collective. So once again, 1 point for every trait and adding them up. The energy's building. All right, moving on to the angelic soul. Sacrifices self often, so overgiving. Stop and learn your lesson. They usually have a very passive personality, which is how they get roped into sacrificing themselves often. Angelic souls are extremely strong healers and tend to gravitate towards the healing fields. It could even be massage therapy or nursing. They're also out of body often, like really often, because it's too dense here. They're etheric beings. They're used to being out there. They are highly empathic. And essentially, they're wanting to create a positive change, even if it's just helping one person at a time. Remember, the Pleiadians are here to help the collective. The angels are like, even if I just help a little old lady with her groceries, I feel good about that. And that's an important distinction. The lesson to learn for the angelic souls are, you can't save everyone. How do you receive? Right? Got some strong masculine energy going on over there. Adding up your points once again. Moving on to the gray soul. Gray souls are typically very logical, very analytical. They gravitate towards space, the sciences, quantum physics. They're problem solvers, really great problem solvers. Usually have very high IQs, but also has a difficult time understanding human emotions. And then last but not least, easily frustrated with language. It's kind of like a lot of gray souls are so used to telepathy that it's hard for them to get the right words across. And the lesson for a gray soul is how to feel rather than think all the time. So, show of hands, who here has the most amount of points with the Anunnaki soul? Cool, very nice, very nice. All right, who here has the most amount of points with the, what was next? Pleiadian souls. Yeah! Awesome. Thanks for being here. Well, thanks everyone for being here. And then who has the most amount of points with the reptilian soul? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. You're not being judged. That guy in the back. Oh my God. All right. Who here has the most amount of points with the angelic? What's the angelic next? Yeah, angel soul, angel souls. Yep. Cool. Awesome. And then we got them. Okay, cool. And then the gray soul. Who here has the gray soul? What up, my family members? Yeah. Awesome. So really take note at what your lesson is. Because this is just what I've really generally seen with all of the beings that I've channeled and their different cosmic connections, but it does go to that depth, it does go to that level, and of course we're only really covering 5 of 20 plus different beings that have all been here and who are incarnating here at this time. So let's move on to how to unlock your cosmic DNA. Now that you know that you're all starseeds, you're all hybrids, and it's all great, how do we do that? And I've said this before in many videos and in my book and all of that. It's so simple to activate your DNA. Raising your frequency. That's it. We are frequency beings first and foremost, and our DNA gets activated with our frequency. So something that I've realized is that disease shows up when we are existing in a lower vibration. Right? We all have these traits within us and our genetic codes. We're all predisposed to a lot of things, but it'll only show up when you're in a bad place. I've had so many clients, they're going through a divorce and they end up getting cancer. They've lost all their money and their job, and they end up getting diagnosed with something that the doctors have never seen before. And in that moment, it's important to understand that we created that that's not happening to us. That we happened to that so that we can unhappen it. So that we can change that. You know, like a couple people have not really liked this concept that I have, but it's a universal truth, which is that we are responsible for everything that happens and that we contract it all. And someone once told me, they're like, well, Elizabeth, would you go up to a homeless person and say to them, you chose this? Well, you created this. They're like, that's kind of a dick move. And I'm like, as a matter of fact, if I was homeless and someone came up to me and said, by the way, you chose this for an experience, for a reason, for a lesson, to learn, to grow from this, and as a matter of fact, you can unchoose this and choose something else, that would be the best day of my life. Because then I'm empowered to make a different choice. It's not society that put me there. It's not the food that I'm eating that put me there. It was me, right? Whether it comes down to your financial abundance or your health, It's you. It's always been you. And we need to start understanding that that's what it comes down to. Raise your frequency. As we raise our frequency, we become more active. We become more connected. And we naturally unlock our cosmic DNA. We become more psychic. We become more abundant. It all flows in. We are frequency beings first and foremost. The fifth dimension is our natural state of being. This is new to us. So deal with this first. Focus on the 3D first. I've said this before, but you cannot live your best life if you're in survival. It's just not going to happen. So we've got to go real. We've got to look at our life and stop saying, I can't talk to my guides. I can't talk to my guides. Can you pay your bills? Right? I mean, for Californians, could you pay your gas bill last month? I couldn't. Jesus, like crazy, right? So focus on that first. Focus on creating your dream life first. And naturally, you can start channeling and connecting. It all happens after that. If you're trying and you're trying and you're trying and you're still not connecting, there's a reason for that. Stabilize the rest of your life first. If you have people who are sucking your energy from you, and yet you're saying, I can't connect to my guides, I don't know who I am at a cosmic level, get rid of those people first. You've got energy vampires that are constantly taking from you. Figure out your present moment. Figure out your human. That's the most difficult piece of this. Everything else is easy because that's our natural state of being. And of course, they don't want us to be in our power. They keep us compliant. They keep us complacent. They keep us dull for a reason. They keep us following. Because if we were to realize how incredibly magical we are, and how much DNA we have within us, and how powerful we are, and what we can create for ourselves in the world, then they've already lost. That understanding, even without application, is powerful enough to change everything. And that's why they're scared. And they really are scared. So, how to raise your vibrational frequency? The choice is yours, my friends. So, I'd like a cold one right now, but, you know, we got some stuff going on. So the main thing that I always say about raising your vibration is about appreciation, right? Realizing that the rest of the world don't even have the privilege to show up to something like this, let alone, once again, have access to clean drinking water and food and shelter. I just feel like in so many ways we're privileged. We're so privileged. I even tell people online, right? They could be living out of their car, and I know some of them are, watching me, but I'm like, you have access to internet, and that's something to be grateful for because you're watching me in this moment. And that's amazing. And 30% of the entire population in the world don't have access to the internet. And how often do we actually think about that? So be grateful. There's so many things in our life every single day to be grateful for. And of course, this weekend and all of you are one of them. So gratitude will always instantly boost your frequency, always. Even in the worst moments. I have a funny story. I think I said this on one YouTube video, but I have to relay it. It just popped into my mind. So this past Christmas, I'm pregnant. And my wife and I, we just moved into the same neighborhood as my dad and my stepmom. And so I was like, oh my God, for the first time in my life, I have a home. And for the first time ever, I can get a Christmas tree, like an actual full size, not a little thing that on the counter. I have space to do this. So I had this dream, this vision of the stockings on the fireplace and the Christmas music in the background. And we're all singing fa la la and decorating the Christmas tree together, right? So, and it started off that way. It really did. I got the eggnog out. And so my wife is like, I want to go get the Christmas wreath. It's in the garage. We had a mouse problem. They're laughing because they're a part of it. We had a mouse problem this past summer, and I said, babe, don't go get the Christmas wreath because it's in the box where all the mice were. So don't. I'm like, don't. We'll buy another one. Just like, don't even touch it. I want to go. Okay, no, don't. I'm telling you right now, this is like a perfect setting. Like, don't do it. So we're all like it's beautiful, decorating the Christmas tree. My vision is coming to life. My wonderful wife comes out with the Christmas wreath. Mouse poop just trailing from the garage all through the house. I just cleaned, by the way. Okay? All through the house, just mouse poop. Guys, look! I got the Christmas wreath. 3 dead mice just fall. Just fall. Luckily, they weren't alive and running around. But, like, the horror on my face. Death. You just brought death into this beautiful Christmas scene. And then the dog is starting to sniff and bite and eat. And it's just chaos. It's all out. And then Nat's screaming because the mice and the poop. Oh, okay. There was some human stuff that came out. In that moment, my vision came crashing down around me. And something that my dad said actually in that moment, and he's like, this is going to make a great story. And you know what? It took me 10 minutes to change my reaction from horror and devastation of my beautiful Christmas scene to, this is pretty funny. Like, this is ridiculous. And this is going to be a story of my first Christmas together, back together as a family and creating a family. And we're going to tell Bodhi that story later on, and hopefully never have to replay that. But once again, in these challenging moments, in these horrifying moments, finding joy in it, finding gratitude, finding appreciation in those moments is so important. So the second step to raising your vibration, other than just gratitude and appreciation, is about the intention around the choice that you're making. Every single day we wake up and we don't even realize it, but we make hundreds, if not thousands of choices. Like, for example, if you love Spotify or podcasts, what podcast are you going to listen to? What song are you going to play? What outfit are you going to wear? What sweatpants today are you going to put on? So many choices. And it's not about the choice. We got to get away from, this is good or bad for me. We got to get away from right or wrong. We got to get away from polarity. We have to just tune into the frequency that we're at when we're making the choice. And that's it. So, let's talk about beer. Beer versus kombucha. Beer, just any alcoholic beverage, naturally has a lower vibrational frequency. It's alcohol. It really does. Just objectively, without any perception, it has a lower vibration. Kombucha, on the other hand, maybe it's like small batches made by the family down the street. It's got a really high vibe, just organically, naturally, higher vibe. But when we think about kombucha, you open the fridge, you're like, God, my wife makes me drink this shit, I was like, if she saw me drinking a beer, she'd kill me. She'd kill me. I'm going to go for the kombucha. Yeah, I'm going to like it. That intention is naturally going to bring down the vibration of something that's naturally high vibrational. So don't make the choice. If you're having a long week and you're thinking a cold beer is going to be that cherry on top of the cake of your long week, choose the beer. Because that's the vibration that resonates with you in the moment. It's not about the programming. It's not about what's right and wrong. And hopping into spiritual awakening, hopping into the spiritual realm, I mean, there's so much programming even within this community. What's right? What's wrong? What's good? What's bad? What's high vibration? What's low vibration? There's no such thing other than the intention that you're in the moment you make a choice. Period. Doesn't matter what choice you make. It's the vibration. So we have to start really tuning in to where we're at in every moment, from moment to moment, when we're making those choices. Okay? Fear, judgment, guilt, attachment, all low vibrations. Love, appreciation, gratitude, joy, laughter, realizing it's going to be a funny story eventually, right? All good vibes. So now I want to end off with a message from the Galactic Federation. And there's two messages that come through here. It was a pretty deep download, so I'm just going to pull it up on my phone. Yes. So I'm actually going to pull these messages from the Galactic Federation meeting that I just had a couple days ago, because it was freaking awesome and super profound and needed to be said here. Now, other than just knowing that unlocking your DNA comes down to your belief, you need to believe that you have it within you. You need to believe that it's accessible. You need to believe in yourself in order for it to happen. The first message that really came through and stood out with the Galactic Federation was from a beautiful, beautiful being. I believe she was half Syrian, half Pleiadian, as I mentioned earlier, and her name is Akani. And first time meeting her with the Galactic Federation. And she's actually a soul recruiter for planet Earth. So she works up on the Galactic Federation ships, and she recruits souls to come here. And so she was talking about the crazy long wait list, right? And all the souls that want to come to this planet. But the biggest message that she had is, karma is no longer a thing. And this was a really, I've definitely explored and unpacked a lot of karmic stuff, but it was so important that she let everyone know that you're not here to just clear your karma. You're not. Because if you were here to just clear your karma, you could be out there, you could use a variety of their technology, their machines to clear your karma. You could upload your karma, download it. You can re-experience it in a virtual reality type setting on one of their ships. You are not here to clear your karma. The more karma you think you have, the more karma you're creating for yourself. The second you understand and believe that we can clear karma at a quantum level in a split second is the second that you're able to do it. Okay, so the first thing is, you're not here karmically. So why the hell are you here? You're here for a reason. You're here for a mission. She could not stress this enough. This was planned. You guys, not only is this a planet, okay, that has one of the biggest prophecies that are going on in the entire universe, but this is the time for the prophecy. This is the time of the transition. And we need every little ounce of starseed energy we can get. You're here for a reason. Once again, whether you are a grocery bagger or a Walmart welcomer or a teacher or a nurse or a starseed activator, you're here for a reason. You are here for a reason. You're not here to be stuck anymore. You're here to make a change. Because there is a long-ass wait list of a lot of other beings who are excited to lose all of their memory to come here to try and make a change. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. You would have left in your last lifetime if you were not supposed to be here to make an important, significant change. And it comes down to every choice you make, every person you smile at, every interaction you have with every stranger on the street. That's the change that we're here to make. You don't have to be on stage to make a change, but you need to know that you're here for a reason, or else you wouldn't be here. Okay? Now that leads me into the second big message, which is talking about mission work versus matrix work. Because so many of us, and I'm sure you feel the same way, and I felt the same way, honestly, since the beginning of my awakening. I'm not doing enough. not doing enough, not doing enough. I'm behind. I don't know what I'm behind, but I'm behind something. Right? I mean, I feel that way every day still. I'm not, it's just more books or like more information or like where do I go and all the things. I'm not doing enough. I need to be doing something more. So how do we balance matrix work and mission work? You actually bring your mission work into your matrix work. You make your matrix work your mission work. That was the message, and that came through Timothy of the Galactic Federation, a half human, half gray hybrid. And he said, there's no division. There doesn't need to be. Once again, it doesn't matter what your matrix work is. It doesn't matter what your 9 to 5 is. We can't all leave our matrix work to be a spiritual healer or a spiritual teacher. We need you in all of the positions all over the planet, changing the vibration of your workplace to raise the frequency everywhere. It's not about leaving. It's not. And that's what we feel we need to do. It doesn't resonate with me. It's not for me. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Then why are you there? Don't run away from a vibe that doesn't align to your soul. Create the vibe wherever you land. And when we can do that, we no longer give our power away to the people, the situations, the energies, the realities, the matrix around us. We take that power back. And we create the life, the vibration, the new earth frequency, wherever we end up. Make your matrix work your mission work. And when you can start with that, the world is your oyster. And that's it. We're going to go for questions, but thank you. That's Okay, I got about 10 minutes for maybe a couple questions. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they can come up. Yeah, if you have a mic, I mean, even better. Whoop, whoop. Amplify those voices. Okay, I'm going to take a quick selfie. This side? This side? Awesome. Thank you for that millennial moment. Yes.
Hello. Is this on? Okay. So this is kind of a hard question. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
So I'm definitely of the belief of if there's someone in your life or people in your life who are low vibrational, put you down, toxic or abusive, it's generally better to get rid of them and you'll start to feel better. Mm-hmm. Now, something I've kind of always navigated is how to deal with those people when they're immediate family members.
Yeah, okay, great question. I've got a couple family family members up here. So there's a balance, I think, especially when it comes to family, right? Like you can choose your friends, you can even sometimes choose your coworkers, right? Because you show up at that job. And essentially we do choose our family members, but it's hard to navigate that. What I always say about family members is if they are too dense and they're bringing you down, then it's really important to create healthy boundaries and to create a space so that you can untether yourself, detach, cut cords, and step back into your power. Once you step back into your power, it's important to either complete that energy with your family, because most likely they are your family in your lineage for a reason, and you are the one that puts yourself in that lineage to clear that space, ancestrally or otherwise. But don't try and clear it when your cup is half full. So that's why the space is needed to create a higher vibration, step back into it, whether that be physically stepping back into it to clear it or energetically stepping back into it to clear it. But unfortunately, you can't really run away from family because it will follow you to the next life. Mm-hmm. So healthy boundaries, but then also stepping in to clear it, whether they're a part of that clearing or not. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Okay, ever since I was young, I never believed I was from this planet. Like my whole life.
Yep.
Nothing ever made sense. The whole thing about living for nothing. You live, you're born, you go to school, you work, you pay bills, you have a family, then you die. That's it.
I know.
To me, that
Brutal.
never made any sense.
Brutal. Yeah.
But recently, this year, I learned that I could channel. I could channel the archangels. And I learned it. It just popped in my head. I asked my wife to see if she could put me under. My wife, Sarah. All of this information came from the archangels. Every one of them, almost. Even talking about it now, I can feel the energy like flushing through me. So we started putting videos up on YouTube. And it's an amazing feeling when people tell you that you're helping them getting information from the archangels. And they talk about the star seeds. They talk about pretty much everything you talk about. So I really wanted to say is what you're doing is going to change the world. Everything, I can feel the energy from everyone in this room. Everyone in this room, every one of you has some kind of gift. You haven't figured out what it is yet. Some of you have. But every one of you have a gift. You have a gift. You have a gift. You have a gift. I don't have a question.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you
anyway,
for that message.
I
Yes.
appreciate what you're doing
Thank
and
you.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was fire, so he's right. My question is, I've been resonating with bringing our vibe to any situation, and at the same time, have not mastered that. And like the hardest of when there's dark energies, when there's just scarce moment, when a hardship comes, and gratitude doesn't feel like it's working. It's like a lingering, I
Yes.
wanted to know if you would share what do you, a tactic or a tool that we can leave with when we're feeling heavy.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I always know when an energy is lingering, maybe it's an ego reaction, or maybe it's a conversation that I had that didn't feel aligned, or even an email that I sent that I'm like, wasn't in a good vibe to send that email and I shouldn't have. So you always know that there's a disharmonic frequency when it sticks in your mind, especially when you're very aware of it. So you're thinking about that person again and again. Oh, it's incomplete energy. So what I recommend, the easiest thing to do at a physical level, sometimes if we're just not able to cut cords and clear it at a quantum energetic level, we bring the quantum energy of the disharmony into the physical. The easiest way to bring an energy that is untangible into the tangible is to write it down. I love burning some letters, love cord cutting. It could be as simple as writing the person's name down and burning it. Fire for me is the release. So that tends to work almost every single time. So you're cutting the cords, it's not working. White light, just have some white light. It's not working. Okay, so clear the energy in a physical, and that way we're actually bringing one medium into another, right? We're bringing the untangible into the tangible. And for us, at a human level, it's we are releasing that, and we can really observe the release that's happening. That's how I clear stuck energies that I cannot clear other ways.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, been watching you for a couple of years. You're
Cool.
you're my favorite person on YouTube. You're a cutie.
Love
We
it,
love
love it. And in person?
I love your story about the reptilian you dated. You should tell these guys it's a trip.
Yes,
But
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, that's great.
Listen, so if the prime directive in the universe, the GFL, is to not have interference with another species,
Yep.
how is it that we have Draco, interference and all of this interference if that's the prime directive? Why is so much crap going on?
Yeah.
How is that plausible? And actually, if you can answer that, what happens when you do interfere? Who adheres
Yes.
to the rule?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's a question I've asked the GFL for many years, and then about every 3 months, I have a human tantrum. I'm like, guys, come on, come down and just save the planet. Like, what are you doing? Everyone else can interfere. What are you guys doing? So I do have some like human stuff to like overcome. But here's what they've told me about allowing the reptilians to interfere, and even the Anunnaki and the whole kind of history of the hybridization. It was contracted. It's not up to the Galactic Federation to say this is wrong and this is right. It was the higher contracts of the planet at a collective level for the reptilians to interfere back then and to continue to interfere to this day until humanity wakes up to make a choice for ourselves. That's what it comes down to. It's not, it's about us taking our power back collectively and realizing that we've actually given our power away. So it's a part of our story. It's a part of our lesson to have them interfere. As long as it's contracted, like a psychic attack. It's like, that sucked, and I don't like psychic attacks, and it's a dark energy, but I contracted that in my reality in order to learn from it.
Is that all life forms or just us?
Yep, that's everything. So karma, contracts, interference, soul contracts, blueprints, that is for every plant, every animal, every being, every dimension.
Okay.
And then what was your follow-up again?
Who's controlling?
Yes.
Who does the adhering
Exactly.
to the rule, to the
Yeah,
law?
there's like a lot of different levels of really incredible, masterful, etheric beings that I've met that are like 12th dimension, who are kind of overseers of the universe, but the real ground crew of the universe that will hold all of the other beings accountable to the laws of the universe is the Galactic Federation.
Yeah.
And I've deep dove into, what does that look like? Is there a galactic prison? And there's a lot of different things and ways that they do to kind of rehabilitate individuals who are not aligning to the contracts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm curious who wrote the prophecy. Have you actually gotten information on that?
Yep.
And is that what we sometimes call the progenitor race or the ancient builder race?
Ooh, very cool. Okay, I don't know anything about progenitor or ancient builders. Sounds like immediately the ancient builders, Anunnaki, right? That kind of vibes, but I'm not totally sure. Yeah, farther back than that.
I'm thinking farther back than
Yeah.
and even before
Yep.
the reptilians. Before
Yeah, so the actual prophecy, and this is how I first learned about the prophecy and how they told it to me, was actually from a being who was a mystic being. So I don't even know what species they were, but they existed on the Galactic Federation motherships. They weren't even planet Earth was not even a planet when the prophecy came about. So this was a very, very, very long time ago, and they've been waiting for the right planet, the right mixing, the right species, the right kind of display of environment, everything, for that prophecy to unfold. So it was actually an ancient Galactic Federation mystic who had a download about this prophecy, that one race, one species to basically save the universe through a choice that they make and their hybrid genetic DNA. So that's where I've channeled, or where I've seen, or where they've told me that prophecy originated from, long before Earth was ever a planet.
Have they ever talked at anything about how our little solar system didn't actually originate in the Milky Way galaxy?
Oh, no, I've never heard about that, but I should ask them next time.
Yeah, I'd
That's
like to
cool.
hear your answer on that.
Cool.
'Cause, there's actually some scientists that are working on that theory, and
Wow.
they've pretty much proven it at this point.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know where these scientists are based at, so I'd say.
Off-planet scientists. Awesome.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
I have a quick question. When I found out that I was taken to visit above, I did fear it. So at one point I said, do what you need to do, but I don't want to remember.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm in the point where I'm embracing it, and I'm having a hard time remembering, but I know that they
Okay.
tell me stuff, but I can't really remember, but I have visions of being somewhere else,
Okay.
walking with others, and there are the grace.
Yep.
So how can, and I meditate, and I do channel,
Yes.
but how can I make it stay? How can
I
I
love
be able
that.
to be more connected with them?
Yes.
Are they mad at me? Because I said.
No, so you know what? This is not an abnormal question. I've heard this a lot of times. So a lot of people will come up to me and say, oh my God, EA, I had the most incredible soul connection download upgrade, 10 years ago, but it freaked me out so much. I said, go away, go away. And they went away and they never came back. And then you're like, I'm sorry. And my dad actually pissed off a UFO one time in Shasta. That wasn't too long ago. They never came back after that. No, but in all seriousness, they will meet you at your vibration, and a lot of the times they will kind of test your vibration by showing you different images or having experiences to allow you to ease into something. So they were just allowing, they're never gone for good. So just know that for sure, that they're always there. They're always going to come back. You can never piss them off because it's a vibration thing. All right, they don't have egos in that way. The other thing that I would recommend to kind of make those memories stay or bring those memories back is hypnosis, okay? So QHHT, quantum hypnosis, just getting yourself into a deep state of trance meditation, even just different breathing techniques to take you back to that place. So sometimes just meditating isn't enough. You actually have to have someone to guide you to go under, and in that space you can navigate. And that's where a lot of my own hidden memories came out. And then you can teach yourself to go into a trance without the guidance and go into that deep place. But it does take some work, and that's how you're going to retrieve those memories. You can also just make a statement, I am ready to remember all of the connections that I have and everything that's happened before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, maybe 1, 2 more questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Hi, Elizabeth. So I am clear on my mission, and my mission is to help foster children get into consciousness, get into power, get into changing their story, changing what this happened to me versus this happened for me, right?
Yes.
So this is my mission,
Love
and
it.
it's clear. Now, I am in between worlds. So I am in my consciousness world, and I am in the matrix world. And I'm trying to get into the matrix world to help and teach and guide, but I get so many obstacles and bureaucracy and
Okay.
no, you cannot. No,
Yes.
it's not. This is not the way. This is not the way. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what would you tell me moving forward? This is my mission, and
Yep.
I am full on it.
So there's 2 things that I want to mention. One, I've heard this a lot, especially from therapists who are like, I want to be a therapist. I want to help starseeds. I want to really change the world, but I'm up against the system.
Yes.
And it's so discouraging to feel like you want to change the system and you're in the system, but you're so in the system that you can't change it.
Yes.
So just know that you're not alone in that struggle, and there's many of you that are out there. 2 things that I want to mention. One is if you're in that position and you're stuck in the system, you're there to learn what you need to learn for the time being.
Yes.
So gain access to as much as possible right now. Soak it all in. Because the second thing is it's always about timing. You're probably meant to branch off and do your own thing completely and find the right investors to help you on that mission. And I'm sure that they are out there and they're willing to support you. But it may not be the right timing. So just know if you stop pushing, if you keep pushing and hitting a wall, and you stop pushing and you just allow yourself to be in the moment to gain access to everything you need within the system, then you can just listen for the right timing to act outside of the system and bring your knowledge to that space.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Okay, we are at time. One more. Okay, one more. Go.
Okay, it's really quick. I just
Yeah.
wanted to ask, is there an end to like the levels of consciousness? Because I know you said there's a 12th dimensional being.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like, because I know in a lot of different religions they refer to them as gods or one god. So is there just endless number of levels? Does it go in like a circle? I don't really know.
It's like difficult to explain because the way that I see it visually is like you've got kind of the vertical levels. So the easiest way is like the 12 dimensions, which are just densities and frequencies in this universe. And of course, there's many different universes. And then you've got the horizontal, which is all of the different parallel realities, which are infinite. Like my choice to have my microphone in my right hand versus my left, my choice to touch Grayson in this moment or not, my choice to take a sip. These are all different, infinite number of parallel realities that go infinitely across. But from what I've channeled, there are just 12 dimensions or densities. I've actually channeled that there might be a 13th one showing up. But within each of those densities, there's an infinite number of experiences that we can have. So yeah, as you go up the dimension densities as a soul, you have greater and greater experiences and you become more and more connected to Source, all that is. And so you become one of these creator beings without the ego because you're that connected to Source.
Okay. Thank you so much. Also, congratulations on your baby.
Thank you. Amazing. And then one more thing. Just like a physical thing. I don't know. Tomorrow I will be at a book signing. So if you guys are hanging around tomorrow and you need your book signed or want your book signed or want a book that is signed, I'll be at the book signing from 9:45 to 10:15, and then I'll be at my booth until I think around 12. So that's where you want to catch me. I'm going to be MIA kind of after this, but I will go to the thing that's happening on the other wall. And then I'm out. I'm like leaving the conference early tomorrow. So just an FYI, if you guys do want your book signed, that's kind of where to find me tomorrow. And other than that, thank you so freaking much. And I love you.